A small white tablet seemingly innocuous, yet it would unleash a force of unimaginable scale. It promised tireless performance and endless vigilance against the creeping hand of exhaustion. But every promise carries a hidden cost. This is the story of a 72-hour advance, a relentless push through the Ardennes in May of 1940. It was a campaign fought not just with steel and fire, but with a chemical edge. The Blitzkrieg, the lightning war, moved at a pace that defied human limits. It relied on a powder, a crystalline substance, to keep men awake, to keep them moving, to keep them fighting. It was a Faustian bargain, trading natural rest for artificial drive. What keeps you awake in the end can prevent you from ever truly waking up again. In the years leading up to the war, a new solution emerged for an age-old problem: fatigue. German chemists synthesized a compound, methamphetamine, and marketed it under the brand name Pervitin. It was hailed as a modern miracle. Pervitin was presented as efficiency in a swallow, a simple answer to the demands of a rapidly modernizing world. It promised to sharpen the mind, invigorate the body, and banish the need for sleep. The marketing was pervasive and persuasive. A nation striving for efficiency and productivity embraced this new wonder drug. Slogans promised to conquer fatigue and stay sharp in every aspect of life. From factory workers to housewives, Pervitin became a common household item. It was seen as a legitimate aid, a tool to optimize human potential. The idea of chemically enhancing performance was not yet viewed with the suspicion it would later earn. It was simply progress. The true test of Pervitin came during the Ardennes offensive in May 1940. German forces launched a daring, unprecedented 72-hour push through dense forests and challenging terrain. This relentless pace was humanly impossible without intervention. Soldiers on the front lines experienced an unnatural state of being. Their eyes remained unblinking, their jaws clenched tight, their bodies wired with an artificial energy. They moved like automatons, driven by a chemical imperative. But this artificial wakefulness came at a terrible price. Hallucinations began to plague the exhausted, overstimulated minds. Mistakes mounted, leading to chaos and friendly fire incidents. The line between reality and delusion blurred. A young driver tasked with maintaining the relentless advance described his world shrinking to road, tree, curve. The repetition, the lack of sleep, and the drug's effects pushed him to the brink of mental collapse. The lightning speed of the Blitzkrieg was fueled by a chemical fire, burning through the sanity of its participants. The success in the Ardennes cemented Pervitin's place in the German war machine. It was quickly dubbed Stuka tablets by pilots, who relied on the stimulant for extended missions. The drug promised heightened alertness and precision in the cockpit. Pilots described a strange detachment, a feeling of flying inside a glass bell. The world outside seemed distant, muted, yet their focus remained unnaturally sharp. This altered perception allowed them to endure long, grueling flights. But the use of stimulants extended far beyond the battlefield. In the chilling confines of concentration camps, these drugs found another, more sinister application. They were used to suppress resistance among prisoners, promoting a terrifying obedience. Even more disturbing, stimulants were administered to those administering the camps. The drugs were believed to dull empathy, to create a detachment necessary for unimaginable cruelty. Chemistry was deployed against conscience, eroding the very humanity of its users. The use of stimulants was not confined to the rank and file. The highest echelons of the Third Reich, including its leader, became increasingly reliant on chemical assistance. The Führer's personal regimen escalated dramatically as the war progressed. He received a cocktail of injections tailored to achieve specific states: wakefulness, steadiness, or artificial sleep. This chemical dependency became essential to maintaining his public persona, to projecting an image of unwavering strength and clarity. The myth of his superhuman endurance was, in part, chemically engineered. As the tide of war turned against Germany, the dosages increased. The initial clarity provided by the drugs curdled into a terrifying conviction, a deepening delusion. the chemical crutch became a blindfold, obscuring reality. The Führer's decisions, increasingly erratic and detached from reality, were made under the influence of these powerful substances. The chemical high fueled a dangerous disconnect from the grim realities of the collapsing front lines. The drugs promised control but delivered only a deeper descent into unreality. As the war dragged on and supply lines crumbled, the flow of Pervitin dwindled. The artificial energy that had sustained the German war machine began to dissipate. The physical and psychological toll became brutally apparent. Withdrawal symptoms manifested across the ranks: shaking hands, intense paranoia, and profound exhaustion. The artificial vigor gave way to a crushing fatigue. The very foundation of the army, once chemically bolstered, began to unravel. Units that had once moved with unnatural speed now faltered, their soldiers plagued by disorientation and despair. The chemical blitz that began with a pill ended with a tremor, a collective nervous breakdown. The body, denied its natural rest for so long, demanded its due. The long-term impact was devastating. Many veterans suffered from chronic fatigue, depression, and addiction long after the war ended. The chemical debt incurred during the conflict lingered, a haunting reminder of the price paid for artificial performance. In the aftermath of the war, the full extent of Germany's chemical dependency began to emerge. Allied forces discovered vast stockpiles of Pervitin, along with detailed records of dosages and protocols. The evidence was undeniable. It revealed a nation that had attempted to outwork biology through chemical means, to transcend human limitations with a pill. The scale of the drug's integration into military and civilian life was staggering. It was a chilling testament to the lengths to which a society might go in pursuit of an artificial edge. This revelation forced a profound reflection on the ethics of performance enhancement. It underscored an enduring truth: every bargain with the body, every attempt to circumvent natural limits, has a clause in small print. The consequences, though delayed, are inevitable. A pill cannot banish consequence. It can only postpone it, often amplifying its eventual impact. The silence after the war was filled with the echoes of a chemical experiment gone terribly wrong. The story of Pervitin is not merely a historical footnote. Its echoes resonate in our modern world, where stimulants continue to play a complex role. Today, these substances are prescribed in clinics and classrooms, often seen as a lifeline for those struggling with focus or energy. Controlled use of stimulants persists in military contexts, albeit under strict regulations. In barracks and cockpits, the temptation to push human limits remains. The line between therapeutic use and performance enhancement continues to blur. We grapple with the same fundamental questions that faced the architects of the Blitzkrieg. Where do we draw the line between treatment and augmentation? What are the ethical implications of chemically altering human capacity? The temptation to become someone else, to transcend our natural limitations, remains a powerful draw. The allure of artificial energy, of endless wakefulness, is a persistent whisper in the human psyche. The image of that small white tablet swallowed in haste remains a potent symbol. It represents the enduring consequences of a desperate bargain. The Ardennes forest, silent now, remembers the nights that never came, the unnatural vigilance. History asks us to understand, not to fear, our limits. It compels us to recognize the inherent dangers in attempting to circumvent our biological design. The story of Pervitin is a stark reminder. It is a warning about the price of waking and the profound danger of losing the ability to sleep. The true cost of artificial performance is often paid in the currency of our very humanity.